Hello, I'm Lindsay Konzak, editor of Modern Distribution Management and MDM.com, and today I'm talking with Brian Gardner, president of Selltis, an industrial-focused sales team CRM software solutions provider. Brian started the business after building out his own sales process solution as vice president of sales for his family's industrial distribution business in Louisiana. He'll talk about that more in a second. Brian, welcome.
Lindsay, thank you. Glad to be here this morning.
Brian, tell me a little bit about your history, how you got to where you are today.
Yes, no problem. Well, first off, I was brought up in a family-owned industrial sales rep/distribution company. My father owned a company in the industrial market, and again, really, literally started as a kid. I used to play with the demo equipment, pressure gauges, and other demo equipment in the back of the car while on vacation. I then worked in the warehouse summers and all, and in inside sales while going to school. In the corporate world after graduation, and I worked for Texas Instruments on the Harpoon missile program for a little bit. Knew quickly that I didn't want to be in that business. I came back to the family business in outside sales, and then moved into divisional management and then ultimately VP of sales over about a 15-year period. I was always a believer in processes and procedures, and when I took on the VP of sales position, I implemented some sales-focused processes. We started out simple. We started with things like lead management, opportunity management, quote management, territory management, analyzing where we should be spending our time and what territories. This all started out with Excel spreadsheets, access databases, some contact management software. Saw the results of this focus via growth. As a team, we were able to grow the family business from 10 million, a little less actually than 10 million, to over 30 million in less than 6 years. And this was all with internal growth, no acquisitions. To this day, I feel the results of this was because we implemented processes and team selling culture within the company. During my role as VP of Sales, we wanted to take it to the next level. We took technology, was becoming more readily available. We took technology and processes and developed a sales team software solution. I felt there was an incredible upside to this with our industrial focused, and I had to make a decision. I just had a passion for it, was to stay in the family business or leave the business and pursue this software to help other industrial sales companies. Many sleepless nights, but I decided to leave and start Selltis. And this goes back again 15 years ago. At that time it was called SFA, Salesforce Automation. Today it's called CRM. I was never a big believer in the acronyms. Again, I think of Selltis as more of a sales team solution with heavy focus on sales processes and team selling. So that's kind of the start of the background. Something new, though, that I can announce, Lindsay, is recently I'm in the process of starting a new venture called Sales Process 360, which is going to be a company focused on speaking, coaching, and consulting in the industrial sales world and helping companies put in place processes on the front end of the sales cycle. Pretty exciting time, taking the past 25 years of history and trying to boil it down to a program that industrial sales companies can implement pretty quickly, bring some value to their team.
Excellent, Brian. Thank you for that background. Let's talk a little bit about the sales cycle. What are some of the key components, and where do companies seem to spend the most time?
What I like to do is start with the core, and I break the sales cycle down into two primary areas, the front end and the back end. It's obviously more complex than that, but if we break it down into those two areas and we look at the front end, being things like lead management, moving then to opportunity, qualified opportunities, and then into the project pursuit stage of the business. I call that the front end. And the back end is typically starts at the quote, moving and then to the order, and then ultimately the follow-up in the service stage of the business. What I find, though, as I talk to companies out in the marketplace, and again, I was guilty of it myself within our family business when I started this, is we were focused on the back end. We had processes and visibility at the back end of our business, but we had no process or visibility at the front end of our business.
Why do companies need to shift their focus to the front end of the sales cycle, the opportunity, and how do they get there?
Yep. Well, first off, I want to be clear. I'm not saying in no means that they shouldn't focus on the back end. Obviously, you need the processes and procedures and visibility on the back end. All I'm really saying is let's put some focus, that same focus with processes and visibility on the front end. I believe putting this focus on the front end can yield results, and these results being increased sales. there's a PowerPoint slide I think you're seeing that I put together 15 years ago that very simple and right to the point. If we break that cycle down into three areas, the stage 1, 2, and 3, stage 3 being the order, 2 the quote, and stage 1 being the opportunity side. If we look at that, most companies are focused and put processes at stage 3, fewer at stage 2, and very few at stage 1, which I just believe is the most critical time in the sales process to get your arms around and again, have that process and visibility within your company.
So, Brian, how do they get there?
It starts with management commitment to change. That's probably the biggest thing that I see and have worked with companies over the years. It must start with management commitment to change. This change being changing within the processes of their business and putting in place a system, whether that's a CRM system, an SFA, using Excel sheets, Access, some kind of system to have the visibility at the front end of their business. This can be tough. I mean, changing culture in companies and people are tough, but this is an area that I think needs to be looked at within companies to get there. When implementing a system, it must be positioned as a team solution. Don't look at this just from the outside sales position. Look at it at all touch points within your company. Inside sales, outside sales, marketing, product specialist, service, pretty much anyone who's touching the customer. This is incredibly valuable information that needs to be shared. When implementing a system, focus on process improvements. What I preach all the time is start slow and grow. Don't try to do too much within your team. Pick 2 or 3 areas where you can get the ROI. Examples of this maybe being opportunity management or target account management, inside-outside sales communication process. Again, pick some areas that can bring value. Another area is commitment to training. Don't just train on the system, but train on the sales processes for what this system brings to the table and why is it important to the team. Talk to other companies in the industry. Find out what they're doing. Find out the good and the bad. And an area that probably might not make some people happy, but I'm a true believer in is don't look at this just as technology. A lot of companies position this as an IT solution, which I believe IT needs to be involved, but I believe it truly needs to be driven by the sales management side of your business.